And in this video tutorial, we are going to make a beautiful canvas embroidery hoop, tree of life, that has vintage buttons on it. And I'm going to talk about a bunch of ideas of what you can do with this gorgeous brand new stencil from MagnoliaDIY.com. It's called Tree of Life. It's really fabulous. I mean, I already have like 100 ideas. So, and at the end, I'll get everybody direct links and my complete supply list if you want it. Okay, so let me tell you a couple things. Today, I cut this project that was on my embroidery hoop for a few years off because I wanted to use this. It's a gigantic, it's actually a quilter's hoop. It's not an embroidery hoop. But I found it at Goodwill a few years ago, and I made this beautiful piece that had a stuffed quilty. Well, that stencil's not available anymore, and I wanted to make something that I could put upstairs in my little sitting room, in my bedroom, by the pictures, by that embroidery that I am having framed that my mom made. So I'm going for a cream and a white look. But what inspired me, sort of, was this. This is a project that I made about 10 years ago. I actually paid a lady to make it. It's a family tree. It's a Scott family tree. And on this side is my husband, his parents, their parents, grandparents, you know. On this side was me and my mom and dad. Where's my dad? Oh, Dad. Sorry, I haven't looked at it in a while. And our whole family. So, why do I show you that? I show you that because I think you could make something really fabulous along that idea with this stencil. And we're just going to do buttons today because that's my thing. But Magnolia has these little round wood pieces and heart pieces that are little that you could write names on, and you could put those on different spots of the tree. Like do this whole side of the tree, your family, and this whole side of the tree, your husband's family, or do the whole tree, your family, and the whole tree, if you have a husband, his family, however you wanted to do it. You could even do pictures. So, I just wanted to share that idea. They're called celebration pieces, and I'm going to put them in my complete supply list in case you want to do that. But today, we're going to use some of my vintage button collection. Okay, so if you're just hopping on, say hello, let me know you're watching. Feel free to sprinkle, feel free to ask questions, all that good stuff. And I want you to know up front that this project, it's my colors. You know, I'm the queen of cream, cream and white, cream and tan, cream and buttons. But you could do this totally in any color scheme, wave that you would like. So, before I came live, I took this stencil, I put it on. This is one of my last big pieces of this awesome canvas that I got at a craft store, Crafter's Warehouse in Boise, Idaho, last time I was home. And I used white Magnolia ink to just push through the holes in the stencil, but you could use silver, you could use gray, you could use black, you could use brown, you could use purple, green, absolutely whatever you want. But I opted to do this stencil in white, and this is what it looks like. And just in white, I think it's beautiful. Just the design of this, oh my goodness. I am totally in love with this. So I did that, and it is dry, mostly. And now I'm going to show you how to heat set it. Then I'm going to show you how to put it in the hoop, and then we're going to embellish it. So I have my iron actually turned on today because I want to get rid of some of these wrinkles if I possibly can. And this is never going to be washed, so, you know, in all technicality, you don't have to heat set it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, my iron is set right about at cotton, no steam. This is a piece of parchment paper to protect my iron. And this is basically what heat setting is. If you have a heat press, of course you can use that. I do not. You don't have to have any you know, super fancy tools to do any of the projects that I like to do. You just need to have a hot gluing device, basically. That's the only criteria to do the DIY crafts. So I'm basically just heat setting it. I'm feeling like these wrinkles are going to pull out over time because they're pretty solidly in here, just based on probably the way it was folded when it was shipped from the manufacturer to the fabric store. Let's just see if I can make any kind of a difference. The big hoop that we're using is a quilter's hoop, and I've looked at them at Hobby Lobby. They are kind of pricey, but it's a beautiful design. And if you don't glue your piece in, even if you do, because I had that queen bee piece glued in, you can still remove it. So think about it as like a frame almost. Oh, and I wanted to mention, you could do the same idea, basically, not in a hoop, but just as like a scroll, like this. Using some of this brown, this is postal wrapping paper. This is the really thick stuff that I love the best. It's called Scotch brand. You also could mount this on one of these Dollar Tree wreath forms. I would probably cover it first with some of this quilt batting or something so that you don't see the lines. I was just trying to figure out other ways that you could do this project. You could even turn this basically into a hanging banner. Okay, I think that's going to be as good as that's going to get. All right. Let's turn off my iron. I see lots of people hopping on. What do you think about this idea so far? Is this an idea that is interesting to you? For me, it's just classic. And with my boring colors, it's just going to be absolutely beautiful. So, okay, so this is my hoop after I pulled that queen bee thing off. It still has glue on the inside. That does not matter at all. So I'm going to put the larger hoop on the bottom. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, so I may not glue it down just yet. Figuring out the placement. Okay, and then you would take your larger one, and I think both sides look good, so it really does not matter. I just do want it to roughly that is not straight up and down. Let me try one more time. now I'm seeing why that's not going to work right in that position, because I didn't have enough fabric. Okay, we're going to go with this for now. And as with any kind of an embroidery hoop, you're going to tighten this little mechanism right here. And I want to pull that one little spot that's wanting to poke out back. You could do a Four Seasons tray by inking 1/4 of the leaves green, 1/4 yellow and orange, 1/4 white, and 1/4 something else. That's a great idea. Okay, so if I was 100% certain that this was the placement that I wanted forever, I would trim the excess off. I would glue it on down like this on the edge as much as possible. Can you guys see that? Fold this over and glue it, and you can see where my glue was from before. Wait, sorry. And then I would cut the excess off. But I still am probably going to fiddle a little bit because it looks like it's slightly squinched over to this side. But that's okay. That does not impact our next steps, which are to do the trees. Let me see if I can possibly go any higher and not tip over. That's the magic. Okay. All right, whoops. So I'm using my low temperature hot gluing device today, and I'm going to pull out a variety of different sizes of buttons. I think I'm going to stick mostly to smaller ones, but we'll see. Like, and when I say smaller, I mean like not these big old giant ones. Okay, where can you get buttons? I am sure that I will have that question. You can get buttons. These are all older mother of pearl buttons. You can get them sometimes at antique shops in a jar. You can find them sometimes at estate sales and garage sales because people just don't realize how awesome vintage buttons are, and they don't know that they shouldn't be getting rid of them. You can order them on Etsy and Amazon. And but what I love about vintage mother of pearl buttons is just the history of them. Just the idea, this was made and carved and used, some of them that still have the thread in them, like this one. It was used on a garment, I don't know, 50, 100 years ago. And then the woman, most likely, I'm not being chauvinistic, but most likely the woman would cut the buttons off when the piece of clothing was not wearable anymore and save it for a future garment. And I just love the history, the idea of that. So, let's see. Just gonna kind of lay down some of the larger ones that I pulled out. I don't want anything to look like it was planned, you know? And you could sew these on if you wanted, but why would you want to do that when you could just hot glue them on there? Because, I mean, if you hot glue them on and you absolutely hate the project, you could, that's too big, you could still just kind of pop them off and be able to reuse them for something else. I don't think that. This style's not going to work because they have the little shank. Let me just browse for 1 second or so to see if I can find it's pretty. I have a lot of the really little ones and then a good amount of the really big ones. I'm not very many of the middle size right now. Ooh, this one's pretty. Okay, so I'm just randomly going to lay these on here, and I usually like to turn my buttons so the holes form a little diamond rather than a square. I don't know how you feel about that, if that matters to you at all. When there's just 2 holes, I like to go kind of up and down. I did not remove the thread. A few of these still have the thread on them, and I did not remove that. So tell me in the comments what you would do with this stencil. I know I asked that question on a photo post that I did earlier, and you guys gave me a ton of ideas. Okay, I think I have these ones on. I think so. This is going to be so beautiful, you guys. I'm so excited. This is 100,000,000% my look, my style. This stencil is a zillion% me. I love it. I am thinking that if people are smart, they will order it, and I would imagine that it may sell out, I would think. So I'm just kind of looking to see where are the leaves, and I'm gluing these randomly over the top of the leaves. So if you wanted, you could do this project a lot of different ways, but one thing you could do is you could use some of these wood buttons that you can get from Walmart, and these are really pretty. A lot of them are carved. I don't have very many left because I've used them so much. But you could do something like that and do your tree brown. You could do some of your leaves that are contrasting color. Ooh, this is a really pretty button. And I'm not worrying about getting my buttons on here to the exact size that the leaves are. Probably will do some of this project just on my own because, I don't know, watching me glue buttons on a tree might be just as boring as watching me paint. And honestly, I just wanted to give you this idea. What do you think so far? Don't you think it'll be pretty when it's all finished and full of buttons on the tree? I do want some more medium-sized buttons. And you don't have to use mother of pearl. That's just what my love is, so that's what I'm using. You could use any kind of button that appeals to you. Or it could be bling. So it could be a lot of different things. And if you're going to do these little round and heart-shaped little wood pieces that I think are called celebration pieces or something from magnoliadiy.com, then they have a hole in the top of them. But you could totally put like a little pearl or something on that to cover that up. And you could write names on it. That's what I like about that idea. I am thinking that I am going to hang this, oh look at that itty bitty bitty one, that I'm going to hang this upstairs in the little sitting room that is off of our bedroom, where I'm going to put those candle wicking things that I'm having framed that my mom made 1,000,000 years ago. Okay, if you can ignore the glue strings, can you see how beautifully this is coming together already? What do you guys think? Do a this or a this. That's a heart. If you're liking this, if you think, now it doesn't have to be framed in an embroidery hoop. This was just my idea. It could be just a canvas, or you could put some fringe on the bottom or lace. You could do this on that brown craft paper. You could do this idea on a stretched canvas. All kinds of different things. And of course you can pick what colors you like and the style that you would like it to be. So, I think I'm going to stop here. I will finish this project up off camera. I will get it more centered before I glue it down. I may add something else. I mean, I don't know. Do you think there needs to be anything down by the roots? I kind of don't think so, but anyways, you could do a beautiful pillow. Oh my gosh. Using this same idea with the buttons and the white or light gray or silver or rose gold ink would be beautiful. You do want to use ink though for your project because this is fabric. Lori says it's beautiful. Thank you. I've been thinking about this project all day long. And I was excited to come home and get started, and I went back and forth between using this glittering silver color of ink, which is fabulous, and this white. And ultimately, I just decided that the cream color of the canvas with the white would go in my decor. Oh, somebody's saying they still love the wooden cross. Is this the one you're talking about? Oh my gosh, this is dusty. I made this, gosh, 3 years ago maybe. And these were some rusty nails that I found on the edge of the lake. We have a cottage up in the Georgian Bay, north of Toronto, a family cottage that my husband and his 2 brothers inherited from their father, who inherited it from his father. Anyways, it's beautiful. It's rustic, so don't think it's fancy. But on one little spot on the island, there was a pile of nails. And so I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm going to take those home. And I did this craft. And I love it. This will probably sit on my desk as long as I'm crafting here. Where did I get my shirt, my blouse? This is a little dress I wore to my Bible study this morning. And it came from Loft. And it was like 40% off when I bought it. Because I never shop at Loft when it's full price. I'm a bargain hunter. I'm also a repurposer. So, like this was a Goodwill find that has already been used once. And that I'm repurposing. You like the other cross too. I love this one also. This was a Dollar Tree, I believe, metal cross that I wrapped in canvas duck. Big surprise. I braided some of that Dollar Tree nautical rope and put it on there, and then I made this pulled string burlap flower with a mother of pearl, vintage mother of pearl button in the center. This probably will stand here as long as I have stuff on my little desk behind me too, because I love both of those pieces. Yeah. Oh, here's another button thing. Let me just show you this real quick and then I'll hop off. This was something I made a long time ago. This would be a really pretty option for this project. This is painter's drop cloth. And I used a stencil. I don't know if Magnolia still has it or not. That had a small wreath. And I used white ink. And I did the button thing on it. And this frame and piece was from Goodwill. It was $2.99. So this is the difference, generally speaking, in the color between canvas duck and painter's drop cloth. And this is, in case you're wanting to know, this drop cloth that I love is Everbuilt brand from Home Depot, and it's kind of an oatmeal color. You do want to wash it a couple times before you use it, before you cut it. You don't want to wash the canvas duck. So, oh, here's another, you know, there's just button stuff everywhere. This was another project that I did, oh gosh, 2 or 3 years ago. It's also an embroidery hoop. You can tell that in the back. Ooh, this is dusty. It has this beautiful, perhaps you were created for such a time as this, stencil, which is from the book of Esther, chapter 4:14. And do you see it? I put buttons. Big surprise on my flowers. This is black ink, so you can see that that would be pretty to do this project with black ink as well. Okie dokie, well I have blabbed long enough. I so appreciate you joining me. Be looking back here later for this to be completed. It may be tomorrow morning. I have to think on it a little bit before I finish it off. I may do some kind of a pretty bow of some sort at the top with cream lace like I did on this one. I don't know. I'll just have to let this project speak to me a little bit. So look back here. But if you want the complete supply list that has all the information, just say supply list or something like that, or recipe. It's kind of like watching a cooking show and you want to know where what the ingredients were. So I even have the name of my little Sherbonder Cool Shot glue device in my supply list. Alrighty, I'll see you guys later. Have a blessed and wonderful rest